Few headlines yesterday when he talked about the myths of poverty and the fact that by 2035 there would be almost no poor countries in the world. There's a local connection, though, to the Bill Gates Foundation, and I wanted to bring in Steve Ricard. He's the founding president, Rotarian Action Group for Microfinance and Community Development. Hello, Mr. Ricard.
Hello there, Angela.
Give me an idea of what the connection is with the local Rotary Club and the Gates Foundation.
Well, Rotary has about 13 clubs here in Calgary, and we've been focusing on helping the poor help themselves, which is our way of saying microcredit, small loans primarily for women in developing countries. And when we approached the Gates Foundation a number of years ago, they said they had a matching grant program, and we took advantage of that.
What kind of a matching grant program?
Well, they would give $2 for every $1 we raised, and we were fortunate enough in our district to raise $200,000, so we netted out $600,000.
Tell me about microcredit for people who aren't familiar with it, Steve, and how it has helped some developing nations.
Well, microcredit is perhaps the single largest anti-poverty tool known to mankind, and it's grown now to 200 million borrowers, and on average they have 5 dependents between their kids and their aging parents and handicapped people in the village. So that's 1 billion people being affected by microcredit, and most people don't know about it. Most people don't know that it's small loans, mostly women. They pay back the money on time with interest, and the money is then loaned out again, either to them or to other people to help develop the community.
And when you talk about the credit, what are they using the money for?
Most time in small villages or rural areas, it's handicrafts and food supplies and some materials like coffee that might be exported, but mostly it's domestic consumption.
But really, it's just that little bit of a step up in order to get their business going. They just need that little bit of help?
Yes, they actually get more than a little bit of help. You're right, they get access to working capital. That's the thing they ask for. But they also get training on a weekly basis. One organization called Finca says that they're in the homes of 1 million borrowers every week.
How long has Rotary here in Calgary been involved in the microcredit programs?
Well, I belong to the Calgary West Rotary Club, and we sent our first lady to a SIA project in 1991. I personally have been involved since about 1986.
Steve, have you had a chance to visit these countries where this program is undergoing?
Yes, because I was the founding president of the Rotarian Action Group, I managed to see quite a number of them, and I've got one story that sticks in my memory. And when I was thinking about what we were going to talk about, can I just tell you that?
Yeah,
story?
Definitely. I want to hear about those.
Okay. Well, this lady was a hairdresser. Her name was Ramona. And Ramona had gotten a loan, bought some hairdressing or hair grooming equipment, including a hairdryer. And so we were on a due diligence trip to make sure that the money we were advancing was being properly spent. And it was in Dominican Republic. And we went to see the place where she had made enough money to feed and clothe her children. That was her house, actually, a corner of her concrete block house. And people said that the local people who were there, she unfortunately wasn't there to meet us, and I'll just get back to that in a minute. She said the neighbors told us that they had seen her put a concrete floor in her house and feed and clothe her children and then actually generate some money for her own education. And in fact, she'd gone back to high school and then to college, and the reason that she wasn't there that night that we were there was because that they were having a grand opening of a local pharmacy, and she was the pharmacist.
Oh, wow. That's a great story. Did you eventually meet Ramona?
We never did. No, unfortunately, we moved on before she finished her stint as the pharmacist.
Steve, when you hear Bill Gates say that he can see a time in 2035 where most of the world's countries are poverty-free, do you see that as a possibility?
I do, and it's because of the Millennium Goals that Canada and Rotary and other major institutions have rallied behind. I think that the number of people living on less than $1.25 a day, which is typically defined as the poverty level, has been cut in half since the Millennium Goals were announced. And there's some projection that we were to do that by 2015, and we're ahead of schedule. That is the world, United Nations, all the major institutions. So the Mohammed Yunus, the man who started the microcredit movement, or at least given much of the credit since he got a Nobel Peace Prize for it, says, why not have poverty only available for our grandchildren in a museum?
Steve, what a great local story. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Well, thanks for the call.
Steve Ricard, he's the founding president, Rotarian Action Group for Microfinance and Community Development. Let's find out how our drive home is going. Helicopter traffic